Under the soft glow of the bedside lamp, Martha sat quietly by her husband's side. His once steady hands, those same hands that had built their family home, held their newborn children, and strummed his beloved guitar, now trembled uncontrollably. The simple act of sipping water had become a daunting task, and each night, as the tremors worsened, a new layer of helplessness settled over their hearts. Martha often wondered, is there something we're missing? Some hidden trigger making this harder than it needs to be? If you or someone you love is living with Parkinson's disease, you understand this struggle all too well. It's not just about the shaking hands or the stiffness in the muscles. It's the quiet loss of independence, the invisible weight of frustration, and the fear that tomorrow might be even harder than today. But what if I told you that something as simple and as often overlooked as the salt on your dinner table could be silently making these symptoms worse? Dr. Carolyn Dean, a renowned medical doctor and naturopathic expert in magnesium and mineral balance, has long warned about the subtle but devastating effects of a high-sodium diet on neurological health. According to her findings and years of clinical experience, excessive sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure, it disrupts the very delicate electrical signals your brain relies on to control your body's movements. And for those battling Parkinson's disease, this disruption can be catastrophic. Let's break this down in the simplest terms. Your brain communicates with your muscles through electrical impulses, like tiny lightning bolts firing along your nerves. These signals depend heavily on a careful balance of minerals, what doctors call electrolytes, including sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Think of it like tuning a beautiful orchestra. When all the instruments are in harmony, the music flows effortlessly. But if just one section plays too loudly, if sodium drowns out the others, the entire performance falls apart. High sodium throws off this balance, overwhelming the nervous system and interfering with these crucial signals. This leads to increased muscle stiffness, worsened tremors, and even more pronounced fatigue symptoms that are already so painfully familiar to those with Parkinson's. And the cruel irony, many of the processed and convenience foods we reach for, especially when we're too exhausted to cook from scratch, are loaded with hidden sodium. Canned soups, frozen dinners, deli meats, and even so-called healthy snacks like whole grain crackers or protein bars often contain staggering amounts of sodium. And it's not always obvious. Food labels can be deceiving, listing sodium under different names like monosodium glutamate (MSG), sodium nitrate, or even baking soda. So, while you might think you're making smart choices, these hidden sources slowly accumulate, day after day, silently worsening the very symptoms you're fighting to manage. But here's the good news. This is something you can control, and even small changes can make a remarkable difference. Imagine starting your day with a bowl of warm oatmeal, topped with fresh berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon instead of a sodium-heavy breakfast sandwich. Not only does this lower your salt intake, but oats also provide essential nutrients that help stabilize blood sugar and support brain health. At lunchtime, instead of reaching for processed deli meats, try a simple grilled chicken breast paired with a fresh spinach salad drizzled in olive oil and lemon. These are small, manageable swaps that slowly retrain your body and lighten the load on your nervous system. Dr. Dean also emphasizes the importance of increasing magnesium, what she calls the miracle mineral in your diet. Magnesium plays a starring role in calming overactive nerves and relaxing stiff muscles. Foods rich in magnesium, like almonds, pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, and even a small square of dark chocolate can work wonders over time. And the best part, these foods naturally support better sleep and reduce anxiety. Two common challenges for those living with Parkinson's. There's a quiet kind of empowerment that comes with taking back control of your health, even in small ways. Each time you choose a fresh, low-sodium meal, you're not just nourishing your body, you're standing up to the disease. You're saying, "Not today. Today, I choose strength." And if you're wondering whether this really makes a difference, let me share the story of Richard, a retired school principal who once struggled to hold a conversation without his words trembling as much as his hands. His doctors focused on medication adjustments, but his symptoms seemed stuck in a slow decline. That is, until his wife began quietly switching out the foods in their home. Out went the canned soups and salty crackers. In came fresh vegetables, home-cooked soups with natural herbs, and a commitment to drink more water throughout the day. Within just a few weeks, Richard noticed something profound. His hands still trembled. Yes, but the intensity had lessened. His muscles didn't feel as painfully tight. And for the first time in months, he slept through the night without waking up drenched in sweat and frustration. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it was hope. And sometimes, hope is exactly what the body needs to begin healing. The journey toward relief doesn't have to be overwhelming. In fact, the simplest changes often create the strongest foundations for improvement. You might be asking yourself, how do I even begin to lower my sodium intake without feeling like I'm giving up all the foods I love? The answer lies not in strict deprivation, but in mindful substitution. Finding satisfying alternatives that nourish both the body and the spirit. Start by becoming a detective in your own kitchen. Take a few moments to read the nutrition labels on the products you use most often. You may be surprised to find that some of your favorite staples, things like store-bought salad dressings, breads, and even bottled waters, labeled as enhanced with minerals, contain unexpected amounts of sodium. Remember, the recommended daily limit for sodium intake is around 1,500 milligrams for individuals with high blood pressure or neurological conditions, but the average diet often far exceeds this amount, sometimes without us even realizing it. Once you become aware of where sodium is hiding, you can begin to make conscious choices. Choose low sodium or sodium-free versions of packaged goods whenever possible. But more importantly, reconnect with the healing power of whole foods. Nature provides everything your body truly needs without the harmful additives that sneak their way into processed meals. Try flavoring your meals with fresh herbs like basil, rosemary, and thyme instead of reaching for the salt shaker. These herbs don't just add vibrant flavors. They're packed with powerful antioxidants that support brain health and reduce inflammation. Two critical factors in managing Parkinson's disease. A simple homemade vinaigrette with olive oil, lemon juice, and crushed garlic can replace those sodium-heavy bottled dressings, delivering both flavor and healing benefits in every bite. Hydration also plays a crucial role in balancing electrolytes. When sodium levels rise, it pulls water from your cells, leading to dehydration, which can worsen muscle cramps and stiffness. Dr. Carolyn Dean often emphasizes that many people living with Parkinson's don't drink enough pure water throughout the day. Coffee, tea, and sugary beverages might quench immediate thirst, but ultimately contribute to further dehydration. Aim for at least 8 glasses of clean, filtered water daily. and consider adding a pinch of natural sea salt, rich in trace minerals, but lower in sodium concentration than processed table salt, to support gentle electrolyte balance if you're following a low-sodium diet. Let's talk about magnesium once more because its role is simply too important to overlook. Magnesium doesn't just calm the nervous system, it actively competes with calcium to prevent excessive muscle contraction. In people with Parkinson's, where muscle rigidity is a common and painful symptom, ensuring adequate magnesium levels can make a significant difference. Incorporating magnesium-rich foods doesn't require a drastic dietary overhaul. A small handful of almonds as a midday snack, a banana blended into your morning smoothie, or a warm bowl of sautéed spinach with dinner can gradually increase your intake. Some people also find relief by taking magnesium supplements, but it's vital to consult with a healthcare provider before starting any supplementation, as balance is key. Too much magnesium can cause digestive discomfort, and it's always best to let nature lead the way whenever possible. You might be wondering, how long will it take before I start noticing changes? The truth is, every body responds differently. Some experience relief within days, while others may take weeks or even months to feel the full effects. The important thing is to remain consistent and patient. Healing, especially when it comes to chronic conditions like Parkinson's, is rarely a straight path. It's a journey of gentle, persistent steps. And while we're on this journey, it's important to address a common myth that Parkinson's symptoms are purely a result of inevitable aging and that nothing can be done to slow their progression. This belief is not only outdated, it's disempowering. Yes, Parkinson's is a complex neurological condition with no definitive cure yet. But growing research shows that lifestyle factors, including diet, hydration, stress management, and regular movement, can dramatically influence how the disease progresses and how severe its symptoms become. Consider incorporating light exercise into your daily routine, gentle walks in the fresh air, stretching sessions, or even simple chair yoga if mobility is limited. These movements help improve circulation, reduce muscle stiffness, and support better balance. Combined with a low-sodium, nutrient-dense diet, this approach forms a holistic defense against the daily challenges of Parkinson's. Remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Each time you choose fresh produce over packaged snacks, each time you pour a glass of water instead of reaching for a sugary soda, you're rewriting the story of your health. You're proving to yourself that even in the face of a difficult diagnosis, you still have the power to choose healing over helplessness. And in those quiet moments, when the tremors feel unbearable and the frustration rises like a tidal wave, hold on to this truth: you are not alone. Across the world, countless others are walking this same path, making the same courageous choices and finding moments of peace amidst the struggle. And every choice you make today lays a stepping stone toward a better tomorrow. The path to managing Parkinson's doesn't have to feel like a constant uphill battle. In fact, some of the most powerful remedies don't come from a pharmacy. They come directly from the small, loving choices you make each day. And perhaps the most overlooked but transformative of these choices is reclaiming your kitchen as a place of healing, not harm. For many, cooking may feel like an exhausting chore, especially when the body feels stiff and uncooperative. But this is where simplicity becomes your greatest ally. You don't need elaborate recipes or gourmet meals to support your nervous system. You only need clean, fresh ingredients and a little intention behind each meal. Think of your kitchen as a sanctuary, a place where healing begins one meal at a time. Start by creating a weekly meal plan centered around foods that naturally reduce inflammation and support brain health. Leafy greens like kale and spinach, rich in magnesium and antioxidants, should be regular guests on your plate. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts offer compounds that help detoxify harmful chemicals from your body, reducing oxidative stress on the brain. And don't forget about healthy fats. Avocados, olive oil, and fatty fish like salmon are rich in omega-3s, essential for protecting brain cells and maintaining smoother neurotransmission. Dr. Carolyn Dean often reminds her patients that it's not about eating perfectly every day. It's about creating habits that gradually crowd out the unhealthy patterns. If breakfast has always been a rushed meal filled with processed toast and salty spreads, try switching to a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with walnuts and fresh berries. This combination not only satisfies your hunger, but also floods your system with probiotics, brain-supporting fats, and powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation at the cellular level. And don't underestimate the healing power of herbs and spices. Turmeric, for example, contains curcumin, a natural compound known to cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce neuroinflammation, a key contributor to the progression of Parkinson's. A warm turmeric tea before bed or adding a dash to your soups and stir-fries can gently support your nervous system over time. Ginger, too, is a potent anti-inflammatory agent and can help soothe digestive discomfort, which is often an overlooked symptom in Parkinson's patients. While adjusting your diet, it's also essential to bring awareness to the emotional relationship you have with food. Many people unknowingly use salty snacks and processed comfort foods to soothe feelings of anxiety, loneliness, or frustration, common emotional states when living with a chronic condition. But every time you turn to these foods, you create a cycle that temporarily numbs discomfort, but ultimately worsens physical symptoms. Instead, try cultivating mindful eating rituals. Take a moment before each meal to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and acknowledge the nourishment you're about to receive. Eating slowly, savoring each bite, and truly tasting the natural flavors of your food helps retrain your brain's reward system. Over time, the intense cravings for high-sodium, high-sugar foods begin to fade, replaced by a deeper satisfaction from healthier options. Beyond food, there's another hidden saboteur quietly intensifying Parkinson's symptoms: chronic stress. When we're constantly in a state of worry or tension, the body releases stress hormones like cortisol, which can inflame the brain and worsen tremors and muscle rigidity. It becomes a vicious cycle. The more stressed you feel, the worse your symptoms become. And the worse your symptoms become, the more stressed you feel. This is why incorporating daily stress reduction practices is just as vital as adjusting your diet. Even 5 to 10 minutes of focused, deep breathing, meditation, or simply sitting outside and feeling the warmth of the sun can reset your nervous system. Dr. Dean often speaks about the incredible power of magnesium baths. Simply soaking in warm water with Epsom salts allows magnesium to absorb directly through the skin, calming the nerves and relaxing tight muscles. These small, gentle acts of self-care remind your body that it's safe, that it can soften, and that healing is possible. If you're someone who has spent years trying different medications, therapies, and treatments with little success, this might feel almost too simple. Could something as basic as eating differently, staying hydrated, and managing stress truly change the course of your health? The answer is yes. These aren't just temporary fixes. They're the very foundation upon which long-term resilience is built. And remember, you're not meant to walk this path alone. Reach out to friends, family, or local support groups. Sharing meals, laughter, and even quiet moments with others can ease the heavy emotional burden that often accompanies Parkinson's. Sometimes, healing isn't just about what we remove from our lives like excess sodium or processed foods. It's about what we add back in: connection, purpose, moments of joy. So, as you stand in front of your pantry today, ask yourself a simple question. Is this food helping me heal? Or is it holding me back? And know that with every mindful choice, you're moving one step closer to a life that feels lighter, more manageable, and filled with renewed hope. And now, as we approach the final part of this journey together, I want to leave you with something more than just advice. I want to offer you a vision of what life could look like when you take back control, one thoughtful choice at a time. Picture waking up in the morning and feeling a little more steady than the day before. Your hands, though not perfectly still, no longer tremble with the same intensity that once dictated your every movement. The stiffness that used to anchor you to your chair loosens, just enough for you to stand up. Stretch and greet the day with a sense of quiet optimism. This isn't a distant fantasy. It's the kind of gradual transformation that happens when you consistently care for your body in ways that nurture and restore. Throughout this journey, you've learned that Parkinson's doesn't just affect the body. It affects the spirit. It tests your patience, challenges your resilience, and, at times, makes even the smallest victories feel monumental. But in that struggle lies something profoundly beautiful: the chance to become an active participant in your own healing, rather than a passive observer of decline. Remember, true health is never the result of a single decision. It's the accumulation of tiny, almost imperceptible changes that build momentum over time. Every time you reach for a glass of water instead of a sugary drink, every time you sprinkle turmeric into your meals, every time you take a quiet moment to breathe deeply and calm your racing mind, you are building a future that holds more freedom, more comfort, and more hope. And if you find yourself struggling with doubt, wondering if any of this will really make a difference, think back to the countless stories of those who have walked this path before you. People like Martha and her husband, Richard, who reclaimed their lives not through drastic measures, but through quiet, consistent action. Or Dr. Carolyn Dean herself, who has dedicated her life to helping people find balance, healing, and relief by returning to the fundamentals of health nutrition, hydration, movement, and worsening. Science continues to reveal that the body is far more adaptable and resilient than we once believed. Neuroplasticity. The brain's remarkable ability to adapt and form new neural connections is a beacon of hope for those living with Parkinson's. While the disease may present significant challenges, it does not have to write the final chapter of your story. With each positive lifestyle change, you're encouraging your brain to forge new pathways, to find new ways of working around the obstacles, and to rediscover moments of ease amidst the struggle. And so, as we conclude this time together, I want to leave you with this truth. You are not defined by your diagnosis. You are not limited by the tremors, the stiffness, or the fatigue. You are a living, breathing testament to resilience. Every breath you take, every choice you make, is an act of defiance against despair. Let today be the day you draw a new line in the sand, the day you say enough. Enough of the silent sabotage of hidden sodium, of processed foods that steal your vitality, of old habits that no longer serve you. Today, you choose nourishment, you choose healing, you choose hope, and with every step forward, no matter how small, you move closer to a life where Parkinson's does not control you, but where you control how you live with it. A life filled with vibrant flavors, calming rituals, deeper connections, and the quiet, powerful knowledge that you're doing everything in your power to protect and strengthen the body and mind you've been gifted. So go ahead, pour that glass of water, prepare that fresh, healing meal, step outside and let the sun warm your face. You are stronger than you know, and this is only the beginning. Stay hopeful, stay resilient, and above all, stay connected to yourself, to those you love, and to the healing journey that's already unfolding before you. Thank you for walking this path with me today. Until we meet again, may your days be peaceful, your steps be steady, and your heart remain full of hope.